Alright, que la que hay, mi gente. Yo quiero hablar contigo porque yo quiero grabar este video con mi gente. Por eso, porque tú sabes esta situación por ahí como uno de mi casa. La razón por que yo grabo, no me, a lot of people like, what the, man, I don't understand what you're saying. So, thanks for watching the channel. Thanks for watching the channel. What I want to make a video is, I want to make a video basically asking the question. I was watching a video. It was about this recording studio in Denver. And basically the guy was using, I don't know if he was kind of crapping on the home recording studio, whatever the case may be. But the way he was saying it was like, you need to come to my studio because my stuff is better. Trying to rag someone, or you can't do a good job with a $200 mic, or I got a $3,000 mic. He was like, them little cheap speakers you got at home, I got a $10,000 audio system, just like, I was just like, here we go. So I have to put a link in the video so you can watch the video. So I don't want to be very long, but I just want to ask this question. Is your gear good enough? Because this is such a loaded, subjective question. I mean, overall, if you look at it, a lot of the stuff we're using is the same. In some points, I mean, you got to look at what advantages do a commercial studio have over your home recording studio. And I would say, really, believe it or not, they just have. So a lot of times the commercial studio just have some more people. You might not have that. Some commercial studios are just one man running the show. But one of the biggest advantages for a commercial studio, believe it or not, is because they may have the space. That's how I look at it. And then of course, because they have the space, then you're paying for the space based on what their hourly rate is. I don't know if I'm tired. Am I tired? Why am I yawning? I hate when I yawn and stuff like that. I wasn't yawning before I started making the video. That's crazy. Man, I thought loco, no entiendo. Anyhow, so I just want to ask the question. I just want to ask the magic question. Is your gear good enough? Let's look at what is a recording studio may have, a commercial studio may have that you don't. What do you think is giving them the edge? Well, let's see. If everyone got Pro Tools, even if the commercial studio have Pro Tools and you get Pro Tools, okay, y'all got the same thing. Yeah, that's my refrigerator. Okay, well, some of these commercial studios might get either Waves, Plug-in Alliance, Brainworks, Sound Toys, Isotope, IK Multimedia, T-Rax. They might get, Slate Digital, UAD. Most of the time, UAD works in like DSP processing in their mixer window program type of system with their interfaces, more than just standalone by itself. But it do work in, they do work in like Pro Tools or Pro Tools you do AX format type of plugins versus your VSTs. But overall, so you got plugins, they got plugins. So what gives them advantage? If you got a DAW, whether they're using Pro Tools or you're using FL Studio or Cubase or Studio One or Reasons or Reaper or whatever. Okay, so both of them are using DAWs. Okay, so what else? You don't need these ridiculous. Not ridiculous. You don't need really the aggressive monitoring, the studio monitors like they may have, because you're working in a smaller space. You just need to hear what you're doing. So you probably have the studio monitors covered. And most of them, it doesn't matter if they're KRKs, the JBLs, Yamaha HS8s, it doesn't really matter. As long as you're, so what's really separating other than maybe do you have experience in recording, mixing, and mastering? Most people do not. So that's where you want to start probably. Probably learn as much as you can on recording, as much as you can on mixing, and as much as you can on mastering. That's what I would. So what else? Okay. Even Warren Hewitt is doing a video on how he's acoustically treating one of his rooms. So there you have it. So now you probably need to, do your acoustic treatment. So what else? There's a few reasons why most recording studios use the console or have a console. One, most of them has the most amount of mic pre's for the most amount of inputs. If they even use the mic pre's on the console, sometimes they use different outboard mic pre's. Other than that, it has EQs on almost every channel. So there's a built-in EQ. But a lot of times we'll say, well, I can use a lot of the plug-in EQs, okay? And other than that, you're just going to have various effects and reverbs and compressors. Well, you can use quite a bit of plugins for that, or you can get some outboard gear, whatever the case may be. You just get what you think you need. You'd be surprised. A lot of stuff that you think you need because you see all these top studios or maybe some other studio have it, doesn't mean that you need it. Just because some other studio has it doesn't mean you need it. The most important thing out of everything when it comes to a recording studio, whether it's a home recording studio, commercial studio, is the song idea and the artist, / musician. Out of all of it. Recording studios do no good if they don't have clients they can record that makes good music. Or they can always get clients, but a lot of clients may not be any good. Sometimes there's a lot of people out there that shouldn't be in the music business, but in their mind, or someone put in their mind, convinced them that they're good enough, and some people are not very good. It's a reality check. But unfortunately, no recording studio can tell an artist that's paying for the time if they're any good or not. So I'm going to sum up the video with this. There's so much, the stuff that's available today, and I would say there's thousands of choices where it ranges from microphones to headphones to cables to microphones to speakers to software to plugins to audio interfaces to controllers, MIDI controllers, DAW controllers, plugins, software, compressors, reverbs, delays. There's so much choice. It's overwhelming by so many manufacturers. if you go to the NAM or the AES show, AES stands for Audio Engineering Society. Shows like that, there's so many vendors, and every last one of them are kind of convince you to buy their product, because that's how any business makes money, is through sales, through services or products. This is basic economics 101. So I just want to make this video to give some people some positivity. You know, it doesn't seem like it might be positive. Maybe I am sleepy. Maybe it doesn't seem very positive, or maybe very influential. But I want you to understand, majority of everything that you have, as simple as it may be, is actually good enough. This can't be stressed enough. If you have these few components, and maybe there's a few things that you need to improve, or it might be some needs that you need to help. But if you have a laptop or a desktop, whether it's a PC or Mac, you have one of the most important tools out of all of it. Because that computer is not only your source for the software, it's your recording device. That's where everything's being recorded, is to your computer. Everyone's doing it. Even commercial studios are recording to the computer now. So you probably have that. So that's covered. Most audio interfaces down to a single channel, 2 channel, 4 channel, 8 channel, 16 channel, 24 channel, 64 channel, whatever. You only need as many inputs as you need. You don't need 24 inputs if you're not recording multiple sessions. If you're only recording 1 or 2 things at a time because you're one person, you don't need a million mic pre's or million inputs. So your interface isn't good enough. And yes, even the Behringer have Midas preamps in them, so you can't make an excuse with Behringer gear anymore. Behringer has award-winning Midas preamps in their interfaces. Behringer got their crap together and started. They bought some of the best names in the business to improve their quality of their products, so they can get a great reputation. And this is a living fact. They made sure they got high quality preamps. So yes, even the Behringer stuff is good stuff. But not just their interfaces, their speakers. Old trusty right here is 25-year-old Eurodesk, 26-year-old Eurodesk. It's an analog Behringer console. It's still kicking strong. No, it's not a Neve. No, it's not an API. No, it's not any of those. Because if I had that kind of money to buy them, I would. But it works. And I got it dialed in to make it sound really good. And everyone that comes over here and they listen, they like, man, it sounds really good in here. Yeah, I know. Because it's not because it was a Behringer, because I knew how to make it sound good. So with that being said, I think that we lost focus. And there's so many companies that are always doing sales. Remember I told you, I made it last month about the Black Friday. Christmas time is coming. I guarantee your email and your promotion sections of your Gmail is flooded with sales. So I don't know why people go crazy over the Black Friday sale like this. It's like this. If you are a company and you own thousands of your product, and you didn't sell it all on this sale date, whether it's Black Friday, you're gonna change the name of your sale to sell more product. It's the same product. It's just a different name of a sales day. They just changed the name. Christmas Eve sale, Christmas Day sale, New Year's Eve day sale, New Year's Day sale, Cyber Monday sale, Martin Luther King Day sale, Columbus Day sale, Valentine's Day sale, St. Patrick's Day sale. It's the same inventory. They got bulk of it and they're trying to sell it because that's how they continue to regenerate money. It's basic business practice. You acquire new customer, or you acquire new customers, and you try to keep repeat customers. That's how businesses survive. If they lose both, the business dies. Business model 101. If you don't keep the same customers that you acquired, repeat customers, and you can't acquire any new customers, and you start losing your repeat customers, in other words, you just start losing your customers all around, people stop going to you no matter what, your business dies. And then it goes out of business. Now you're doing liquidation sale. So to sum up the video, if you have the bare essentials that you need, such as an audio interface, computer, buy you some software. If you can't afford a dog, if you got a PC, at least GarageBand is free for Mac, and at least Cakewalk is free for PC users. Cakewalk is a full-fledged, amazing doll. You got a lot of tools in it. Other than that, get your controller, interface, studio monitors. And the only time that people probably need a lot more stuff is when it comes to acoustic recording, such as trying to record guitars, guitar cabinets, bass cabinets, real drum sets, bands that use a lot of instruments and need a lot of space, and you need quite a few microphones with mic and quite a few mic pre's, and the console would be definitely beneficial. But you definitely need a powerful computer, an interface that can handle all the inputs, things like that. If you got, other than that, but if you're just basically, if you're recording electronic music where you're using a controller and you're using a lot of samples, MIDI, VST instruments, virtual instruments, or you got synthesizers with, like a motif or montage or Korg Kronos or Roland Phantom or any board that comes with a plethora of sounds, and you're using that, or you're using the virtual instruments, there's lots of programs that have like hundreds of retro type of virtual synthesizers. There's so many free plugins out there, free piano plugins, organ pianos, MIDI Rhodes, Fender Rhodes, Wurlitzers, plugins. Your computer's got to be powerful enough to handle all that. But if you got all that, if you're recording like that, you don't need tons of, and you're just doing this stuff in your bedroom, and the only thing that's really holding you back is do you know how to make the stuff sound like a record? That may be, are you really good with using EQs, compressors, reverbs, delays, how to set up your DAW, doing mixing properly, how you edit properly, all the little things that that's really where you should concentrate if you're weak at those areas, that's where you should concentrate your. But other than that, I'm gonna wrap the video up. I'm just gonna say, I would love to hear people's opinions on this, and I think honestly, in most cases, most people already have what they need. These companies, it's like you can get lost with gear acquisition systems. It's very, very contagious. It is, because it will make us feel that we are inadequate. It's like with that studio. I was watching a studio tour on that. That's what motivated me to make the video. People will try to make you feel that if they got superior, higher quality gear, that your stuff is inferior, that you can't get it done. And that is an absolute lie, because there are people that know how to use a $200 mic and blow that guy away that has a $3,000 mic. And that guy with a $200 mic and blow that guy away because he knows proper mic techniques. And I want to end on this. When you start running across studios like that and trying to tell you if you got a nice Focusrite interface, you got Logic Pro or whatever, you got some really nice plugins, a really nice sounding interface, you got some nice monitors, KRKs or the Yamaha HS8s or whatever, the JBLs, whatever monitors you have. You got a controller, and there are things that you need to do to work in your software. Even if you got, even the Rode NT is stellar for vocals. NT1 is a stellar microphone. That microphone was probably all you really need for a condenser mic in most situations, the Rode NT1 is an absolute beast of a microphone and is super affordable. And the Rode NT1 it's fared against some of the best, some of the Neumanns and Telefunkens out there, and it's legendary for home recording studio. And most people are like, man, that's a Rode? Yes, that's how good Rode microphones are. In most cases, that you got what you need. So that's why I do these videos on the gear rants and how some of these companies can't justify, oh man, you're not, you know. And trust me, of course, if it was actually affordable and feasible, of course we would want that stuff. But don't let someone, because it's an API or an SSL or whatever the case may be, make you feel that, you know, it's kind of like, if you look at it like this, if the SSL was such a great, and they are really great consoles, but if they were just, I mean, Steve Albini would have gave up his Neotech a long time ago. He definitely would have been afford to get an SSL, but he produces amazing results on his Neotech. That goes to show you, he doesn't need the SSL to get great results. It's not knocking SSL by far. He doesn't need it. It's the same thing with Studio 1979 out of Nashville. They have an MCI console. If the SSL was that great or the API was that great, they would have gave up their MCI console. But they know the MCI console sounds amazing. And so anything, it's about, if you're happy producing the results that you have, then you don't need to go get something else. A lot of times it's not the gear. Most of the time it's the person. So now, I am personally, in my personal opinion, I think that irregardless if you own an SSL or an API or an MCI or Trident or a Helios or an Audience or a Cadec or an AMEC or an Allen and Heath or a Tascam or Yamaha, or I can just go on and on. Harrison, doesn't matter on these type of consoles or outboard gear. If you know what you're doing, the results are so minimum between all those brands, the actual audience cannot tell the difference if you use an API or an MCI console. They cannot. It's that, it's kind of like, I got a couple of Nikons and I got some Canons. If I take pictures with both, you wouldn't know which one I took unless you really knew about the camera. And most of the time, what makes Nikon such a high warning camera is not because of its colors, it's because of its clarity. What makes the Canon such a high warning camera is not because of its clarity, but because of its colors. The colors science that out of Canon cameras are like stellar. But the differences between one or the other, that one may be a little bit more superior over the other in what they're good at, the differences between the brands are so minute that most of the Canon looks crystal clear and the colors are amazing. The Nikon looks crystal clear and the colors are amazing. To you, ABM, you might see they're like nitpicky differences. The thing that separates all these name brand companies and all this gear is nitpickers. They're just nitpicky. That's really what it is. Gear snobs nitpick at stuff that's so minute. The audience don't care. They don't care if you have a Midas or a Behringer or a Yamaha or whatever. They don't care. They don't. It's only going to be when it's only time people care is when it's obviously bad. And most of the time it's usually probably not the gears because the person didn't know what they were doing. Other than that, so I'm going to end the video on that note. Então aqui está bueno. Yo no sé. Dime, yo quiero ir. Suscríbete y también ponte un mensaje porque yo quería leerte let me stop. Y'all have a great one and we'll see you in the next one.